compatible color pioneered and developed by RCA. Hallmark cards. When you care enough to send the very best. Presents Greer, Garson and Francho Tone in The Little Foxes by Lillian Hellman. Also starring Sidney Blackmer, E.G. Marshall, and Eileen Heckert. Produced and directed by George Schaefer on the Hallmark Hall of Fame. Hallmark Cards presents this program as part of a series of fine plays to bring you the respected writings of the world's most famous authors, performed by some of the outstanding people of the theater. Hallmark hopes you will enjoy these classics, brought to you in the truest form possible on television. His first Christmas solo. Oops, a little stage fright. There now, our soloist is all ready to begin. This traditional event is the subject of a charming Hallmark Christmas card. It's one of 4 unusual designs in a box of 12 Hallmark cards for only $1. Another Hallmark dollar box features Christmas greenery set off smartly by sparkling glitter. There are beautifully inspiring Hallmark religious cards in boxes, too, like these moving scenes fashioned in a church window motif on a gold background. For the modern Christmas touch, there are these distinctive Hallmark cards by the famous artist Robert Schneeberg. At the fine stores that feature Hallmark cards, you'll see many, many boxes of beautiful Christmas cards by other famous artists such as Hulda, Steinberg, and Norman Rockwell, and by such well-known writers as Edgar Guest and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. You'll find a great galaxy of Christmas cards to choose from, and you'll be pleased to find, too, that it costs no more to send Hallmark cards. Here's a striking example. This special value box contains 45 different Hallmark cards for only $1.98. And the big value box gives you another wonderful variety. 22 distinctive Hallmark Christmas cards for just $1. Remember, whichever box you choose, each card will bear the added compliment on the back, the Hallmark and Crown, the symbol you look for when you care enough to send the very best.
Our brother's wife is the only one of us who belongs to the Southern aristocracy. Her family owned the plantation Lionette, in its day the finest cotton land in the South. But in those days, the Southern aristocrat couldn't adapt himself.
Cal, I want you to get Simon from the stables to run home for me. He's to look in my desk, the left drawer. Oh, Patty, what a good supper. Just as good can be.
Oh, you look pretty this evening, Miss Bertie. And so young.
Me young? Now, Cal, you tell Simon he's to bring my music album right away. Mr. Marshall is very anxious to see it because of his father and the opera in Chicago. I told him all about how my mama and papa used to go to Europe every year for the music. Imagine going all the way to Europe to listen to music. Wouldn't that be nice, Daddy?
Yes,
Cal,
ma'am.
the left drawer. And you tell Simon twice because he forgets.
Yes, ma'am. But Simon, he won't get it right. But I'll tell
And
him.
you tell him not to let things drop out of the album.
Oh,
Oscar, I was just sending Simon for my music album. Mr. Marshall said that he would like to see it.
Never mind about the album. Miss Bertie's changed her mind.
Oh, but Oscar, really, I promise, Mr.
Now,
Marshall.
why do you leave our guest and go running about like a child?
Oscar, I told him all about how Mama met Wagner, and Mr. Wagner gave her the sign program.
You have been chattering all evening like a magpie. I can't believe he came south to be bored by you.
He wasn't bored. He's a very educated and cultured gentleman,
You
and I just
had
don't
too
believe it.
much wine. Oh, get yourself in hand.
I'm not doing anything. You always act like this when I'm having a nice time and you don't want...
Mama, Papa, Mr. Marshall's about to leave.
Here, come here now. Pull yourself together.
You know, Mrs.
Come on.
You may be disappointed in Chicago. It's dirty, noisy.
I think you're just trying to console me, Mr. Marshall. Chicago may be the noisiest, dirtiest city in the world, but I should still prefer it to the sound of our horses and the smell of our azaleas. I should like crowds of people and theaters and lovely women. Very lovely women, Mr. Marshall.
In Chicago? I suppose so, but I can tell you this. I have never dined there with 3 such lovely ladies.
Our southern women are well favored.
But one must go to Mobile for the ladies, sir. Very elegant, worldly ladies, too.
Worldly, did you say? Worldly?
Your Uncle Ben means that worldliness is not a mark of beauty in any woman, Leo.
Yes, of
Your
course,
port
Uncle
is
Ben,
excellent, Mrs. Gibbons.
Why, thank you, Mr. Marshall. We'd been saving that bottle, hoping we could open it just for you.
You know, you Southerners occupy a unique position in America. You live better than the rest of us. You eat better. You drink better. I wonder you find time or want to find time to do business.
Well, a great many southerners don't.
Really, Annie? Oh, you better ask Mama.
May I, Mama?
In Mr. Marshall's honor, Alexandra.
Mr. Marshall, this will be the first taste of port I've ever had.
Well, no one ever had his first taste of a better. Tell me, Mrs. Giddens, do all of you live here together?
What, here with me? Oh, no. No, my brother Ben lives next door. And my brother Oscar and his family live in the next square.
That's very pleasant. My children never seem to come home. Away at school in the winter, summer in Europe with their mother.
Oh, yes. Even down here, we read about Miss Marshall in the society pages.
I dare say she moves about a great deal. But all of you are part of the same business, Hubbard Sons.
Oh, Hubbard Sons is Oscar and me. We got it from our father. He taught the southern planters that the real money was in trade. Our sister's good husband is a banker.
I'm so sorry that my husband isn't here to meet you. He's been very ill. He's at Johns Hopkins now, but he'll be coming home soon. We think he's getting better.
I see. Oh, Mrs. Hubbard, before I go, I want to see that Wagner autograph you promised me.
Autograph? Oh, well, Mr. Marshall, I didn't mean to chatter so about it. You must excuse me. I didn't get it because, well, I had a little headache, and...
My wife is a miserable victim of headaches.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Hubbard. I quite understand. Well, I must be leaving for my train.
Before you go, fill him up, boy. We have a strange custom down here, sir. We drink the last drink for a toast. That's to prove that the Southerner is always still on his feet for the last drink. It was your Mr. Henry Frick who said railroads are the Rembrandts of investments. But I say Southern cotton mills will be the Rembrandts of investments. So I give you the firm of Hubbard, Sons, and Marshall Cotton Mills, and to it a long and a prosperous life.
Hubbard, Sons, and Marshall.
You've a turn for neat phrases, Hubbard.
I'm just a plain man, sir, trying to say a plain thing. A man ain't only in business for what he can get out of it. It's got to give him something here. Money isn't all, not by 3 shots.
Oh, really? I always thought it was a great deal.
So did I. I don't like to say goodbye to you, Mr. Marshall.
Well, then we won't say goodbye. Remember, you promised to come and let me show you Chicago. Do I have to make you promise again?
I promise
The
again.
children will drive you to the depot. Leo, Alexandra.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Marshall, the train.
It's not often Uncle Ben lets me drive the horses. And a beautiful pair they are, too, sir. Come on, Sam.
May I drive tonight, Uncle Ben, please? I'd like to, and Leo always...
In your evening clothes? No, my dear.
But Leo
No.
always...
Goodbye, Mrs. Hubbard.
Goodbye, sir.
Remember that promise.
I will.
We'll see you to the carriage.
Yeah, the contracts ought to be ready to be signed in about a week.
Fine, gentlemen. I'm sure this will be very profitable for all.
We'll get in touch with you right away.
And there, Bertie, there goes the man who has opened the door to our future.
What?
Our future, Bertie. Yours, mine, Ben's, Oscar's, the children's. Our future. You were very charming at supper, Bertie. Mr. Marshall certainly thought so.
Oscar said I bored Mr. Marshall, but he admired you and told me so.
What did he say?
He said to me, I hope your sister-in-law will come to Chicago. Chicago will be at her feet. Then he said, the ladies would bow to your manners and the gentlemen to your looks.
Did he? He seems a lonely man. Imagine being lonely with all that money. I don't think he likes his wife.
Not like his wife.
Well, he made fun of her 2 or 3 times for being so social and high-toned, but that fits in all right. Her being social, I mean. She can introduce me. Won't take long with an introduction from her.
Regina, are you really going to Chicago to live?
Well, I've always wanted to. And now there'll be plenty of money to go with.
But Horace won't be able to move around. You know what the doctor wrote.
There'll be millions, Bertie, millions. You know what I've always said when people told me we were rich? I said I think you should be either a field hand or a millionaire. In between like us, what for? Oh, Bertie, don't always look so scared about everything. There'll be plenty of time to worry about Horace when he comes home. If he ever decides to come home.
Will we be going to Chicago too, Oscar and Leo and me?
You? I shouldn't think so. Well, we must remember tonight. It's been a very important night, and we mustn't forget it. Make a wish, Bertie. Any wish. It's bound to come true now.
A wish? Well, I guess I'd know right off what I'd want.
Well, you did it.
It looks like it might be we did.
Oh, looks like. Don't pretend. Why, you're like the cat that's been licking the cream. We must all have a drink to celebrate.
Now, somebody asked me how I know the deal is set.
What do you mean, Ben?
You remember me telling him how down here we drink the last drink for toast?
Yeah, so I never heard that before.
Nobody ever did. But the good Lord forgives those who invent what they need. I already had his signature, but all of us have done business with men whose word over glass is better than any bond. Anyhow, it don't do any harm to have both.
You understand what he means, Regina?
Yes, Oscar, I understand. I understood immediately. Well, Bertie and I have been planning what we want. What do you want, Billion?
Now, caution, don't count the chickens. But the good Lord would allow us a little daydreaming, especially if we worked hard enough to deserve it. I want a racing stable. Rich man's pleasure, the sport of kings. Why not the sport of hubbards? Why not?
Why not? What do you have, Oscar?
Well, I don't know. Pleasure of seeing the mills rise will be enough for me.
Of course, our greatest pleasure.
I've heard the Cornelli place on Jekyll Island is for sale. I might think about buying it. It's a nice change of climate and fine shooting on Jekyll. The best.
I'd like 2 things.
2? I should like 1,000. You're modest, Bertie.
I should like to have the plantation back again. I know y'all own Lionette now, but I should like to see it the way Mama and Papa used to have it. Every year it used to get a new
what
coat
do you
of
want,
paint.
Regina?
Well, when I'm settled in Chicago and I know the right people and the right things to buy, for I certainly don't know now, I shall go to Paris and buy them.
Oscar, please let me have Lionette back again. And I have one more wish. Just one more wish. I wish you'd stop shooting. I don't
It cost an awful lot of money to live the way you're planning, Regina.
Well, certainly, but there'll be plenty of money. You've estimated the profit very high.
I have. I've estimated the profits very high for myself.
Not true?
You're exciting yourself.
Well, I couldn't hear what you said, Bayan. There's so much talking. What did you say, Bayan?
All right, now we've heard you.
I'm waiting for you to finish. You and Bertie. 4 conversations. It's 3 to me. I said that I had, and I do, estimate the profits very high for myself and Oscar.
What does that mean?
Oscar? Well, Regina, it's like this. For 49%, Marshall will put up $400,000. For 51%, a controller and interest, mind you, we will put up $225,000, in addition to certain local benefits our position allows us to manage. What Ben means is that $225,000 is a lot of money.
I know the terms, and I know it's a lot of money.
It is. What Ben means is that we are ready with our 2/3, but your third, Horace's, doesn't seem to be ready. Ben has written Horace, you've written him, I've written him. He answers, but he never mentions this business. Ben has been very patient, Regina. Naturally, you are our sister, and we want you to benefit from anything we do.
And in addition to your concern for me, you don't want control to go out of the family, That'll give you a strange partner, and strange partners sometimes want a great deal. Maybe it'd be wise for you to find him.
Now, no one says we want to do that. We'd like to have you in. You'd like to come in.
Oh, yes, I certainly would.
But we haven't heard from Horace.
Now, I've given my word that Horace will put up the money, and that should be enough.
It was enough. But Ben has to have more than your word now.
Yeah, the contracts will be signed this week, and Marshall will want his money right after. Regina, Horace has been in the hospital 5 months.
Beginning to look like he doesn't want to come home.
Well, of course he wants to come home. You can't move around with heart trouble any moment you choose. Besides, has it occurred to you that Horace is also a good businessman?
Certainly, the bank is proof of that.
Then, quite possibly, he may be keeping silent because he doesn't think he's getting enough for his money. $75,000 he has to put up. Well, that's a lot of money, too, Oscar.
Nonsense. He knows a good thing when he hears it.
No, that isn't what Regina means. Regina is saying that Horace wants more than a third of our share.
Well, he's only putting up a third. You put up a third, you get a third. Or what else could he expect?
Well, I don't know. I don't know about these things. It would seem that if you put up a third, then you should only get a third. But then again, there's no law about it, is there? I should think that if you knew your money was very badly needed, well, you just might say, I want more. I want a larger share. You boys have done it. I've heard you say so.
And you believe he's deliberately held out for a larger share. Well, I don't believe that. But I do believe that's what you want, Regina. Am I right?
Where would this larger share come from?
Well, I don't know. That's not my business, but perhaps it could come off your share, Oscar.
What kind of talk is
I
this?
haven't said a word.
You are talking very big tonight.
Am I? Well, you ought to know me well enough to know that I wouldn't be asking for things that I didn't think I could get.
Listen, I don't believe you can even get Horace to come home, much less than get money from him, or talk quite so big about what you want.
Oh, I can get him home. I'll send Alexandra to Baltimore, and she'll ask him to come home. She'll tell him that she wants him to come home, that I want him to come home.
Well, but he's sick, and maybe he's happy where he is.
You agree that he will come home if Alexandra asks him to?
I admire you, Regina, and I agree. That's all settled.
But before she brings him home, I want to know what he's going to get.
What do you want?
Twice what you offered.
Twice. You won't get it.
Oh, I don't want to fight.
I don't either. You won't get it. You're holding us up, Regina. That is not pretty. That is not pretty. But we need you, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give Horace 40% instead of the 33 1/3 he really should get. I'll do that, providing he is home and his money is up within 2 weeks. How's that?
All right.
I've asked before, where's this extra share coming from?
From you, from your share.
From me, is it? Well, that's just fine and dandy. That's my reward. For 30 years, I've worked my hands to the bone for you, doing everything you didn't want to do.
Oscar, I ain't a man that likes being attacked.
Well,
But the good Lord, I can't believe the good Lord meant for the strong to parade their strength. But I don't mind doing it if it's got to be done. Now, I've made you money in the past, and I'm going to make you more money in the future. What's the difference to any of us if a little more goes here and a little less there? As long as it's all in the family and stays there. Now, my money will go to Leo and Alexandra. I don't know. Someday they might even marry.
Dan and Leo?
well, that'd make a big difference in my feelings if they married.
Well, that's what I mean. Of course it'd make a difference.
Is that what you mean, Regina?
Oh, it's too far away. We'll talk about that in a few years.
I want to talk about it now.
Well, there's a lot of things to consider. They're first cousins.
That
and...
isn't unusual. Our grandmother and grandfather were first cousins.
Look at us. And then Leo's a wild boy. There were those times when he took a little money from a bank.
That's all past history.
I know. I'm only mentioning it to show you that there are considerations.
All right, there are. But please assure Oscar you will think about it very seriously.
Very well. I assure Oscar that I will think about it very seriously.
That is not an answer.
My, you're in a bad humor. You shall put me in one. I've said all that I'm willing to say now. Besides, Horace has to give his consent, too.
Horace will do what you tell him to.
Yes, I think he will. Why, Alexandra, you back?
Yes, Mama.
Well, Mr. Marshall got all safe and sound.
Were you careful driving those horses?
Oh, yes, sir, I was.
But, Mama, he...
Alexandra, I have great news for you. You're going to Baltimore in the morning to bring your father home.
Me? Papa said I should come. Oh, that must mean... Abby, he must be well. Think of it. He'll be back home again. We'll bring him home.
You're going alone, Alexandra.
Going alone? Going by herself? A child that age. Mr. Horace ain't gonna let Zan creeping up there by herself.
Addie, go upstairs and lay out Alexandra's things.
I never heard such...
Well, I should think you'd like going by yourself. Why, at your age, it certainly would have delighted me. You're old enough now to be taking some responsibilities.
You better learn now. She's about old enough to get married, eh, son?
Huh?
About old enough to get married, you were thinking, huh?
Zan? Sure, Papa. A lot of girls Zan's age
she's
get
not
married.
getting married tomorrow, but she is going to Baltimore tomorrow, so we'll talk about that. Now, you'll be happy to have your papa home again, hmm?
I wanted to go before, Mama. You remember that. But you said you couldn't go and that I couldn't go alone.
Well, I changed my mind. Now, you're to tell your papa how much you miss him and that he must come home now for your sake. Tell him that you need him home. Hmm?
Need him home? He may be too sick to travel. I couldn't make him think he had to come home for me if he's too
What,
sick.
you couldn't do what I asked you to do, Alexander?
No, I couldn't if I thought it'd hurt him.
Well, but you're doing this for Papa's own good. Now, you must let me be the judge of his condition. It'll be the best possible cure for him to come home and be taken care of here. He mustn't stay there any longer and listen to those alarmist doctors. Tell your Papa that I want him to come home and that I miss him very much.
Yes, Mama.
Now let's go upstairs and start getting Alexandra ready. Why don't you all go home?
I'll take care of the railroad ticket. I'll have one of the boys bring it over. You have a nice trip, Alexander. The food on the train is very good. That celery is so crisp. Now, you have a good time. Act like a little lady. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all. Oscar, don't be so glum. Makes you look as if you had chronic indigestion.
Imagine you're not wanting to go. What little fool you are. Wish it were me. What I could do in a place like Baltimore.
Mind your business. I can guess the kind of things you could do.
Oh, no, you couldn't.
Come on, Alexandra.
Dan, I don't understand about my going, Aunt Bertie. But don't worry about me. I can take care of myself.
That's not what I'm worried about.
What's the matter?
It's about Leo.
He beat the horses. That's why we were late getting back. We had to wait until they cooled
He's
off.
my very own son, but you are more to me. More to me than my own child. I am not going to let you marry Leo. I'm not going to let them do that to
Marry
you.
Leo? I wouldn't marry Aunt Bertie. I've never even thought about it.
But they have thought about it. I just couldn't
Then
stand
I'm
it.
not going to marry. And I'm certainly not going to marry Leo.
Don't you understand? They'll make you. They'll make you.
Bertie! Bertie, get your wrap.
Come on up, baby. Your mama's waiting. If she ain't nobody to keep waiting.
All right. Good night, Aunt Bertie. Good night. Good night, Uncle Oscar. Aunt Bertie, what happened? Aunt Bertie?
Nothing, darling. Nothing happened. You go to bed. I only twisted my ankle, that's all. Oh, Mr. Ben, it's you.
Well, good morning, Addie. Well, Miss Regina, heard anything more?
No, sir. Something must have happened. If Zan writes they's coming home last night, they's coming last night. Unless something happened. Oh, it's surefire disgrace to send a baby like that all the way to Baltimore alone to bring home a sick man.
You do a lot of judging around here, Addie, hmm?
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Ben. Been up all night watching for him. Miss Regina ain't come down yet. Cal's setting breakfast for Mr. Oscar and Leo. They're inside.
Oh, Papa, nothing's happened to Alexander. She just hasn't got sense enough to send a message.
If nothing's happened, then why aren't they here?
Morning, Oscar. Leo. No news from runaways, huh?
Something certainly happened. People just don't write. They're coming home Thursday evening, not here Friday morning.
Now, wouldn't you think a girl that age would be able to get in a train at one place and have sense enough to get off at another?
Shouldn't you be down at the bank opening up, Leo?
Well, I just stopped
Your
by
Uncle
to-
Ben is right. You got to start working harder at the bank and convince your Uncle Horace you're going to make a fit husband for Alexandra.
Yes, Papa.
Well, quite a convention so early in the morning, aren't you?
Well, you're rising mighty late these mornings. Is that the way they do in Chicago society? Regina, what do you think really happened to Horace?
Nothing.
You don't think maybe he never even started from Baltimore, never intended to start?
Oh, well, of course they started. Didn't I have a letter from Alexandra? Come and have some breakfast. Don't worry so much. What's so strange about people arriving late? He has a cousin in Savannah he's so fond of. He may have stopped by to see him. They'll be along today sometime. Very flattered that you and Oscar were so worried about them.
I'm a natural worrier, especially when I'm about to close a business deal and one of my partners remains silent and invisible.
Oh, is that it? I thought you were worried about Horace's health. These grits ain't hot enough. Take them away, Cal.
Yes, ma'am.
Regina,
Uh-huh.
that cousin of Horace's has been dead for years, and in any case, the train does not go through Savannah.
Oh, did he die? You're always remembering about people dying. Well, now, I intend to eat my breakfast in peace and read my newspaper. I hate chattering before I've had something hot.
Mr. Horace, Mr. Horace.
How are you, Eddie?
Oh, fine, Mr. Horace. Just been worried about you. Here, come on and sit down.
Now, don't tell me how worried you were. We couldn't help it, and there was no way to send a message. We had to stop in Mobile overnight. Papa didn't feel well. The trip was too much for him, and I made him stop and rest. No, don't take that. That's Papa's medicine. I'll hold it. Now, about the stuff in the carriage. you
Now,
can just...
since when I old enough to hold a bottle of medicine?
The pills Papa must take every 4 hours.
Uh-huh.
And the bottle only when he feels bad. I'm the nurse now, Addie.
Well, you'd be a better one if you didn't look so dirty. Now, go on up and take a bath. Miss Grown Up, change your linens and... You all right, Mr. Horace?
I'm glad to be sitting down.
Doesn't feel all right. The trip was very hard on him, and now he must go right to bed. I better tell Mama we're here now.
Zan, not for a minute, darling. You let me rest a little.
Mom will be mad if I don't tell her we're home.
Just for a minute, darling. Addie will tell her.
Go on upstairs and let your Papa rest.
Be all right, Papa?
Go.
Addie,
Yes, sir?
before I see anybody else, I want to know why Zan came to fetch me home. She tried to tell me, but she doesn't seem to know herself.
I don't know, Mr. Horace. All I know is big things are going on. All because smoke is starting to come out of buildings that ain't even up yet.
That's that mill business I've been getting so many letters
In a little while, you'll hear red bricks going into place. Next day, chimneys will be up. By church time that Sunday, every human born a woman will be living on chicken. That's how Mr. Ben's been telling the story.
They believe it that way?
Well, they used to believe in what Mr. Ben said. Oh, there ain't never been so much talk around here since Sherman's army didn't come there.
They are fools.
Everybody's going to be high-toned rich. Big rich. You, too.
They're still counting me in, are they?
Yes, sir. Well, Zan. Mr. Horace, Zan is going to marry Mr. Leo in a little while.
What are you talking?
That's right. That's the talk. God help us.
What's the talk?
I'm telling you. There's going to be a wedding over my dead body there, yes, sir.
Addie, you go tell Regina I'm home.
You don't want to go in there now, Mr. Horace. They're all waiting for you. You ought to be in bed.
You go on now.
Yes, sir.
You tell them I'm back. In a moment, we return to the second act of The Little Foxes on the Hallmark Hall of Fame. When a bottle of cologne becomes a striking Christmas bell, when a necktie is transformed into a jaunty Santa Claus made of red paper and trimmed with cotton, and when a doll is gift-wrapped to look like a delightful dollhouse, That's truly the added touch that means so much. And now it's actually easy to create such original-looking Christmas gifts. For these are just 3 of the exciting new gift wrapping ideas you'll find in a wonderful new book called The Art of Gift Wrapping by Kay King, Hallmark gift wrapping stylist. You can at fine stores that feature Hallmark gift wraps. And with 32 pages in full color, it's brimming over with more than 100 unusual and exciting gift wrapping ideas, all with easy-to-follow directions. It shows you how to wrap gifts of every size and shape, and how to create all sorts of beautiful bows, including this lovely poinsettia bow to top off your Christmas gifts. And now it's easier than ever to create eye-catching bows like this, thanks to a remarkable new Hallmark ribbon called Hall Sheen. It's the same on both sides, and actually sticks to itself when moistened, so you can make bows without tying any knots at all. And now you can get new Hall Sheen ribbon in this handy Christmas ribbon reel dispenser. 220 feet of ribbon, 4 different colors, for only $1. And of course, for the best dressed gifts this Christmas, you'll want to choose Hallmark gift papers, for this year's designs are more dazzling and distinctive than ever. You can get as many as 12 different designs for just $1. And packages of Hallmark jumbo seals, tags, and card enclosures, 110 pieces in all, for only 69 cents. There are ensembles of Hallmark paper, too, with matching tags and ribbon for just 59 cents. So this Christmas, remember, for the best dressed gifts, now wonderfully easy to wrap, choose Hallmark gift wraps. The added touch that means so much. We shall return to the Little Foxes immediately following your station identification.
Donald O'Connor and Roy Rogers join Dinah on the Chevy Show tonight.
He's here. Now finish your breakfast. I'll talk to him.
You never leave a meal unfinished. Too many poor people need food. Now eat.
Horace. Horace. Well, you finally arrived.
Hello, Virginia.
Well, now sit down, sit down. I'm so sorry the trip was hard on you, What did happen to you, Horace?
Well, I felt a little weak, I guess. We stopped overnight to rest. Zan's upstairs washing off the train dirt.
Well, here we are. It's been a long time. 5 months. You know, I wanted to come and be with you in the hospital, but I just didn't know where my duty was, here or with you. But you know how much I wanted to be with you.
Very kind of you, Regina. There was no need to come.
Oh, but there was. Now, don't try to tell me you didn't have a bad time.
I didn't have a bad time. No, I didn't. Well, first, when I heard the news about myself, after I got used to it, I liked it there.
You liked it? Well, isn't that strange? You liked it so well that you didn't want to come home?
Well, now, that's not the way to put it. I got kind of used to the place, kind of to like lying there thinking. Never had much time to think before, and time has become valuable to me.
Here I was thinking that you were in pain. And instead, you were having a holiday. A holiday of thinking. Couldn't you have done that here?
I wanted to do it before I got here. I was thinking about us.
About us? About you and me? After all these years? Well, you shall tell me everything you thought someday.
Regina, why did you send Zan to Baltimore?
Why? Because I wanted you home. There, you can't make anything suspicious out of that, now, can you?
I didn't mean to make anything suspicious about it. Zan said she wanted me to come home. I was so pleased at that and touched. It made me feel good.
Touched that I should want you home.
I'm saying all the wrong things as usual. Let's try
to get along better. Regina, what's all this talk I'm hearing about Zan and Leo marrying?
Who gossips so much around here?
Regina.
Oh, that's just some foolishness that Oscar thought of. I've no intention of allowing any such arrangement. It was just a way of keeping Oscar quiet and on all this business that I've been writing you about.
What has Zan to do with any business of Oscar's? Whatever it is, you better get it out of Oscar's head immediately. You know what I think of Leo.
Well, there's no need to talk about it now.
There's no need to talk about it ever. Not as long as I live. As long as I live. I've been in the hospital 5 months. You haven't asked about my health. Oh, I suppose they've been writing to you. I can't live very long.
I've never understood why people have to talk about this kind of thing.
You misunderstand. I was not asking for your sympathy.
I didn't ask you about your illness because I didn't want to remind you of it. Anyway, I never believe doctors when they talk about that. Horace, I didn't mean to be unpleasant.
I came home wanting so much not to fight, and all of a sudden there we were.
It's all my fault.
Well, we'll try our best with each other.
I'll try. Honestly, I will. Horace, I know you're tired, but could you stay down here just a few minutes longer because I want Ben to tell you something?
Tomorrow.
No, I want it now. It's very important to me. It's very important to all of us. It's very important to your beloved daughter. She'll be a very great heiress.
Will she? That's nice.
Ben, Horace would like to talk to you now.
Horace would not like to talk to you now.
Come on in, Ben.
Well, sir, you had us all mighty worried.
I know, Ben.
You're a sight for sore eyes. And how are you feeling?
Oh.
Tip-top, I'll bet, 'cause that's the way you're looking.
How are you, Leo?
Fine, sir, fine. But a lot better now that you're back.
All right, Regina.
Come on now, that's good. And sit down. And please, you be quick, Ben, because Horace is very tired.
Well, it
and
can
he has to
wait.
get to bed.
Maybe you don't want to talk about it today.
Well, no faker you are. You know it can't wait.
All right, I'll make it quick. Now, for years, I've been saying that every one of us little southern businessmen had a great thing right beyond our fingertips.
Horace!
I was just wondering where you were, Bertie.
I'd have been here to meet you, but I didn't know you were back yet, Simon. Oh, Horace, you don't look well. No, you don't.
Well, Bertie, what a thing to say.
What is that strange costume you're parading around in?
Oh, it's my wrap. I'm so
You mean
excited.
you
I just
came
rushed
across
right
the
out of the
square
house.
dressed like that?
Just like old times.
Now, no fight.
Dad!
Hey.
Dad! Oh, well, you tell Danny I'll be back in a minute.
As I was saying, it's been my dream to make those fingers grow just a little longer. Now, I'm a very lucky man, Horace, to dream and then live to get what I dreamed of. Can I get you something?
Some water.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
Yeah, for 30 years, I've cried, bring the cotton mills to the cotton. Well, finally, I got up nerve enough to go to Marshall and Company and...
Hey, now, do you feel all right?
Yeah. I know all this. You wrote me.
Yes, but what you don't know is that in the last few days, Ben has agreed to give us a much larger share.
Really? Well, that's mighty generous of you.
Not so generous of me. It was smart of Regina.
To keep the control in the family?
Exactly. I did a little bargaining for you, and I convinced my brothers that they weren't the only Hubbards who have a business sense.
Now, but see, we're getting a bigger share. Who's getting less?
Oscar.
Well, Oscar, you've grown mighty unselfish. What happened to you?
Now, Oscar don't mind. There's no need of fighting about it now, Oscar.
I'll get mine in the end. Be sure of that. I got my son's future to think about.
Leo? Oh, see. Well, I'm beginning to see. Everybody will get theirs. Now, what did you have to promise Marshall and Company besides the money you're putting on?
Water power, free and plenty of it.
You got 'em that, of course.
Yeah, cheap. You'd think some people would make their price a little higher. And cheap wages. Marshall says to me, cheaper than Massachusetts, he says, and they average 8 a week. 8 a week, I said. Why, I'd work for 8 a week myself. Why, there ain't a mountain white or town Negro down here that wouldn't give his right arm for $3 silver every week, and Horace?
Sure, and they'll take less when you get around to playing them off against each other. Well, looks like you made a good deal for yourself. Your father always used to say he'd make the thousands and you boys would make the millions. Yeah, I think he was right.
Millions for us, too, Horace.
You and me? Oh, I don't think so, Regina. We got enough money. We'll just sit by and watch the boys grow rich. How's everything down at the bank, Leo?
Oh, fine, sir. Everything's fine.
How all the ladies in Mobile. Whatever made you think I'd let Sam marry
You mean that you're turning this down? Is it possible that that's what you mean?
No, that isn't what he means. Horace is tired. He won't talk about it tomorrow.
We'll talk about it now. We waited for you here like children, waited for you to come home.
so you could invest my money? If you're disappointed, Regina, I'm sorry. But I must do what I think best.
I want to talk to you, Horace. I'm coming up.
I knew it was a mistake to talk about this today. Now, you come on. We better get back over to the office.
Well, now, suppose she don't change his mind. Now, just suppose.
Then we go outside for the money. There's plenty of people who would give it.
And plenty who'll want a lot for what they give. Those who are rich enough to give will be smart enough to want. Now, that means we'd be working for them now, don't it, Ben?
You don't have to tell me things I told you 6 months ago.
She'll change his mind. She always has.
I can't believe that you mean to turn this down. I won't let you pass up a chance like this. If you change your mind next week, it'll be too late. It's got to be done now.
I won't change my mind. I don't want it.
You don't want it, but I do want it. And I'm your wife, and I have a right to expect that you'll take care of my future, of our child's future. All my life, I've had to force you to make something of yourself.
Let me alone.
I won't let you alone. If I let you alone, you'll still be
Mama, don't.
So that's
Please,
why
Mama,
you want
stop.
me
He's sick. He's so sick.
No, it's a bad one.
Annie, please make her
Stop. You
stop.
hold yourself? Is that what you thought? Oh, you hate to see anyone live now, don't you? You hate to think that I'll be alive and have what I want.
I should have known you'd think that was the reason.
Because you're going to die, and you know you're going to die.
Just don't listen.
Come, Dan. Come away, honey. Come on.
Not even partly that. I'm sick of it. Sick of this house. Sick of my life here. I'm sick of your brothers, their dirty tricks to make a dime. Why should I give you the money? To pound the bones of this town? To make dividends for you to spend? You wreck the town, you and your brothers. You wreck the town and live on it, not me. Maybe it's easy for the die, to be honest. It's not my fault I'm dying. I'll do no more harm now. I've done enough. I'll die my own way, and I'll do it without making the world any worse. I'll leave that to you.
I hope you die. I hope you die soon. I'll be waiting for you to die.
Now, you wait here, Leo. I got some deposits I want you to take down to the bank.
Yes, sir. Well, Uncle Ben seems mighty worried.
Ought to be worried. I've been shaved already. Still damn right if you have to give up some of his.
Oh, Uncle Horace will go along with it. It's too good a thing. He's got plenty, and plenty to invest with. Now, he doesn't even have to sell nothing. $88,000 worth of Union Pacific bonds just sitting there in that safe deposit box.
He's had them bonds for 15 years. Bought them when they were low, and he just locked them up.
Yeah, all he's got to do is just open the box and take them out. Oh, the things in that box. There's all them bonds sitting there looking mighty fine, and then is sitting right next to it is an old baby shoe of Zan's, and Papa, nobody believes this, but there's a piece of an old violin.
Piece of a violin. Think of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy things. There's a cameo and a poem, I guess. And
How do you know it's in the box, son?
Papa, one of the boys at the bank, it was Joe Horns. Well, one day he just up and took me out of his keys and took that box back. Well, he all asked me if I wanted to see, and I just took a little look. And...
Joe Horns, you say?
Oh, yes,
he opened it.
My word of honor. But I told him to put that box back quick.
Tell me the truth. I'm not going to be angry with you. Did you open the box yourself?
Oh, sir, no. Oh, I didn't, Papa. I wouldn't do a thing like that. No, sir.
I'm not going to be angry with you. Sometimes a young fella deserves credit for looking around and see what's going on. That may have been a good thing if you had.
I opened it.
Is that the truth? Does anyone else know you opened it? Leo, you needn't be afraid of speaking the truth with me.
Nobody knows. Nobody was there when I did it.
Does your Uncle Horace know you ever opened it?
Oh, he only looks at it once every 6 months, and that's when he cuts the coupons. And sometimes Amanda does that for him. Amanda keeps them for him. Papa, can you imagine having all that and never looking at it? It's better if I had them bonds. I'd sit and watch them like a hawk.
If you had them. If you had them, then you could have the share in the mill, you and me. And a fine, big share it is, too. Leo, you think your Uncle Horace likes you well enough to lend you the bonds if he decides not to use them himself?
Papa, you got stock out of your mind. Lend me the bonds.
Alone. For 3 months, maybe 4, say. Easy enough for us to pay it back then. Anyway, this is only April. Well, if you don't look at him till fall, he wouldn't even miss him out of the box.
No, that's right. He wouldn't miss him.
Well, how could he miss him if he never looks at him? You laugh when I say he could lend you the bonds if he's not going to use them himself. But would it hurt him?
No, it wouldn't.
People ought to help other people, but that's not always the way it happens. So sometimes you've got to think of yourself. Ben. Huh? Leo here might be able to do something for us. Ain't that right, son?
Leo?
Ain't it true you might be able to help your own kinfolks?
Well, Papa,
How could he help us, Oscar?
Well, Leo has a friend. Leo's friend owns $88,000 in Union Pacific bonds. Leo's friend don't look at 'em much, not for 5 or 6 months at a time.
Union Pacific, huh? Let me understand. Leo's friend would lend him the bonds, and then he would...
He would be kind enough to lend them to us.
Uh-huh. Leo?
Yes, sir?
How soon would your friend want the bonds back?
Well, sir, I don't know.
You told me he wouldn't look at them till fall.
That's right, he won't, but Oh, not till fall. Uncle Horace doesn't even go near it.
Your uncle doesn't wish to know your friend's name.
Yeah, it's a good one, not know his name.
Shut up, Leo. Now, if he don't look at them till September, that gives us 5 months. Leo will replace the bonds in 3 months. Anyway, once the mills are going up, we have no trouble raising money. Will Marshall accept bonds?
Why not? Why not? Good. We're lucky. I think Leo's friend would be a safer partner than our sister. How soon could you get the bonds?
Well, right now, I guess, sir. Just sitting there in the safe.
I don't want to know where they are.
We'll keep it a secret from you.
Good. Now, you better get over to the bank and draw a check for our part. Now, you'll take the afternoon train for Chicago.
Good. Come on, son. Regina!
Regina! Come in. Sit down. Regina, our mother used to tell you that it was unwise for a good-looking woman to frown.
How much longer can you wait for the money?
He turned you down. That's too bad.
He'll change his mind. I'll find a way to make him. What's the longest you can wait now?
Well, I could wait till next week, but I can't wait till next week. I could and I can't. I could and can't. You better be running along, Oscar. You got things to do.
You're not going, Oscar. I want to talk to you.
Oscar is going to Chicago, so we won't be over for our usual Friday supper.
What? What do you mean?
Just that. He's going to deliver our money to Marshall.
You're lying. You're trying to scare me. You haven't got the money. How could you have? You can't have... I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You wait here until
You were getting out of hand. Since when did I take orders from you? Go on, Oscar.
Oscar, you wait. You wait here. How can Oscar go to Chicago? Did a ghost arrive with the money? I know you're lying to me. Listen, Ben. Come back here. Come back here, Ben. Ben.
Bertie, when did Oscar get back from Chicago?
Yesterday?
Hasn't he been here yet? No, neither has Uncle Ben since that day.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad. Oscar never tells me anything.
The Hubbards have had their great quarrel. I always knew it'd come someday. It came.
But Oscar was in such a good humor when he got home.
Yes, I can understand that.
All ready to go on that errand, Mr. Hart.
Good, Cal. Now, you go on with your party, Zaya. I want to talk to Cal.
All right, Papa. Come on, Aunt Bertie. Let's try your song now.
All right.
Now, Cal.
Yes, sir.
I want you to walk yourself down to the bank.
But it be closed. Nobody be there but Mr. Mander and Mr. Joe Horn.
And Mr. Leo. Now, you go in the back way. They'll all be at the table going over the day's business. All right. You see this box?
Yes, sir.
Now, you tell Mander that Mr. Horace is much obliged to him for bringing the box. It arrived all right.
He know you got that box. He bring it himself this afternoon.
You just say what I tell you. You understand?
No, sir, I ain't gonna say I understand. I am going down and tell a man he'd give you something he already know he'd give you, and you say understand.
Now, Cal.
But yes, sir. But I'm just gonna say you obliged for that box coming all right. Now, I ain't gonna understand it, but I'm gonna say it.
And you tell Mander that I want him to come over here after supper and bring Mr. Saul Fowler with him.
He's to come over after supper and bring Mr. Saul Fowler, your attorney at law, with him.
That's right. Now, you walk right in the back room and speak your piece in front of everybody.
Yes, sir. Going down to tell the man about the box.
Is anything the matter, Papa?
Oh, no, nothing.
Come on over here, Mr. Horace, and don't be thinking so much. A little elderberry's good for the stomach in the rain.
Isn't this nice? A party just for us.
Wouldn't it be nice if it could always be this way?
Miss Whitey, that elderberry gonna give you a headache spell.
Oh, I don't think so, Addie. I don't think it will. Mama used to give me elderberry wine when I was a little girl for the hiccups. I always used to get the hiccups just when I shouldn't have. I remember it was my first big party at Lionette, and there I was with the hiccups and Mama laughing. Everybody was on their way to come, and I was such a ninny just hiccuping away. You know, that's the first day I ever saw Oscar Hubbard. He passed by, and he lifted his hat, and my brother, to tease Mama, said, maybe we should have invited the Hubbards to the party. He said Mama didn't like them because they kept the store. That was old-fashioned of her. Then I saw Mama angry for the first time in her life. She said she was old-fashioned enough not to like people who shot animals they couldn't use and who made their money charging awful interest to poor, hungry colored folks and cheating them on what they bought. She was very angry, Mama was. I never seen her face like that. And then suddenly she laughed and she said, look, I frightened Bertie out of the hiccups. And so she had. They were all gone.
Yeah, they got mighty well off cheating poor folks. Well, there's people who eat the earth and eat all the people on it. Like in the Bible with the locusts. And then there are people who stand around and watch them eat. Sometimes I think it ain't right. Stand and watch them do it.
Yes, that's the first day I ever saw Oscar. Who would have thought that... Y'all want to know something? Well, I don't like Leo. He's my very own son, and I don't like him. I guess I even like Oscar more.
Why did you marry Uncle Oscar?
That's no question for you to be asking.
Why not? She's heard enough around here to ask anything.
Aunt Bertie, why did you marry Uncle Oscar?
Oh, I don't know. I thought I liked him. And he was so kind to me. I thought that was because he liked me, too. But that wasn't the reason. Ask why he married me. I can tell you that. He's told it to me often enough.
Miss Bertie,
My
don't...
family was good, and the cotton on Lionet's fields was better. Ben Hubbard wanted that cotton, and Oscar Hubbard married it for him. Everybody knew that's why he married me. Everybody but me. Stupid, stupid me.
Papa, I mean, when you feel better, couldn't we go away? I mean, by ourselves, couldn't we find a way to
I
go?
know what you mean. We'll try to find a way. I promise you, darling.
You come rest a while, Miss Bertie. You talking like this, you'll have a headache, sure.
I never had a headache in my life. You know it as well as I do. I never had a headache, Dan. That's a lie they tell for me. I drink. All by myself in my room, by myself. I drink. And then when they want to hide it, they say, Bertie's got a headache again.
Bertie.
Even you won't like me now. You won't like me anymore.
I love you. I'll always love
Well,
you.
don't love me. Because in 20 years, you'll be just like me. They'll do all the same things to you. You know what? In 22 years, I've never had a single old day's happiness. And that's the way you'll be. You'll trail around after them, hoping they won't be so mean to you that day or say something that'll make you feel so bad. Only you're going to be worse off. Because you haven't got my mama to remember.
Come now, Aunt Bertie. I'll walk you home. You and me.
Well, that's the first time I heard Miss Bertie say a word. Well, maybe it's good for her. Just sorry Zan had to hear it.
Well, here, let her see everything. How else she gonna know she's got to get away? I'm trying to show her that. I've got so little time left. Pretty soon, there won't be anybody to help her but you.
But what can I do?
Take her away.
How can I do that, Mr. Horace? You think they'll just let me go away with her?
I'm gonna have Mr. Saulfowler make me a new will, leaving my money to Zan. She'll see you're taken care of. They'll try to make trouble. You make Zan stand firm. Fowler will do the rest. They won't be able to stop you when you're ready to go. You'll go away.
I promise, sir. You feel bad, don't you?
No.
I'll get your medicine. You better lay down and rest a bit.
No, you leave me where I am.
That's Miss Regina coming back.
Oh, you go away, Eddie.
Mr. Horace, don't you talk to her. You don't feel good, and it won't do you no good.
Go on now.
We had agreed that you were to stay in your part of this house and I in mine. This room is my part of the house. Please don't come down here again.
I won't.
I'll get Cal to take you upstairs.
Before you do, I might tell you, after all, we have invested our money in Hubbard Sons and Marshall Company, cotton manufacturers.
What are you talking about? You haven't seen Ben. When did you change your mind?
I didn't change my mind. I didn't invest the money. It was invested for me.
What?
I had $88,000 worth of Union Pacific bonds in a safe deposit box. They are not there now. Come take a look, Regina. Take a look. Those bonds are as negotiable as money.
Well, what kind of joke are you playing now? Is this for my benefit?
I don't look in this box very often. But today, because I had made a decision, I sent for it. The bonds are gone. $88,000 gone.
Think I'm fool enough to believe what you're saying?
You believe anything you like.
Where do they go?
They are in Chicago with Mr. Marshall, I should guess.
What did they do? Walk to Chicago?
Leo took the bonds.
I don't believe you.
Beth! I wanted to stay. What happened down at the bank?
Well, nothing. I just went down there and I spoke my piece, just like you told me. I say, Mr. Horace, he'd thank you mightily for that safe box arriving in good shape. And then Mr. Leo. Well, he'd jump up and he said to me, he said, what box what you talking about?
Did he?
And then Mr. Leo said he got to leave a little early because he got something to do. And then Mr. Mander said Mr. Leo should sit right down, finish up his work, and stop acting like somebody make him Mr. President. And so he sit down.
Mr. Leo was telling the truth. He has got something to do. I hope Mander don't keep him too long. That's all, Cal, for the time being. You better get those wet things off.
Oh, this will make a fine story to hold over their heads.
I'm not going to
How could
hold
they
it.
be such fools?
I'm not going to hold it over their heads.
What?
I'm going to let them keep the bonds as a loan from you, an $88,000 loan. They should be grateful to you. They will be, I think.
See. I see. You're punishing me. But I won't let you punish me. If you won't do anything, I will. Now.
You won't do anything because you can't. Won't do you any good to make trouble, because I shall simply say, I lent them the bonds.
You would do that?
Yes. For once in your life, I'm tying your hands. I'm going to make a new will, Regina, leaving you the Union Pacific bonds. Everything else will go to Zan. It's true your brothers have borrowed your share for a little while. After I die, I advise you to talk to them and ask them. Well, they won't admit anything. They'll be smart enough to see they're safe, since I knew about the theft and said nothing. Nor will I say anything as long as I live.
You will not say anything as long as you live.
That's right. And by that time, they will probably have replaced your bonds. Then we'll think it's all a capital joke on you. There's nothing you can do to you. Nothing you can do to me.
You hate me very much.
No.
Oh, I think you do. Well, we haven't been very good together. Anyway, I don't hate you either. I've only contempt for you. I've always had.
Since the very first.
Yes, I think so.
Well, I was in love with you. But why did you marry me?
I was lonely when I was young.
You were lonely.
Oh, not the way people usually mean. I was lonely for all the things that I wasn't going to get. Everything in this house was so busy, and there was so little place for what I wanted. I wanted the world. Then Papa died and left the money to Fame and Oscar.
And you married me.
Yes, I thought... But I was wrong. You were a small-town clerk then. You haven't changed.
And that wasn't what you wanted.
No, it wasn't what I wanted. It took me a little while to find out I'd made a mistake. Then it was almost as if I couldn't stand the kind of man you were. I used to pray that you wouldn't come near me.
Really? It was as bad as all that.
Remember when I went to Dr. Sloan and I told you he said there was something the matter with me and you should stay away from me?
I remember.
And you believed it. I couldn't understand how anybody could be such a soft fool.
What?
That's when I began to despise you.
Why didn't you leave me?
I told you I married you for something. Turned out it was only for this. This wasn't what I wanted, but it was something. I never thought about it much. I realized that you'd die before I would. And I couldn't have known that you'd get heart trouble so early and so bad. Unlucky, Horace. I've always been lucky. I'll be lucky again.
Please, tell Eddie the other bottle's upstairs. Hey!
Horace? Addie! Cal! Come in here! Mr. Horace has had an attack!
In a moment, we return to the third act of The Little Foxes on the Hallmark Hall of Fame. Legends tell us that back in the 16th century, 3 gifts in a bundle were given on Christmas Day. The bundle would include a birch rod for discipline, mittens for usefulness, and cookies for pleasure. This Christmas will find far more exciting gifts beneath the tree, and there will be especially appropriate gifts. Each is distinctive, yet surprisingly inexpensive, and each one also helps spread thoughtfulness and friendliness throughout the year. One is the new Hallmark Thoughtfulness Album. This handsome album contains monthly calendar pages where you jot down birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, and all other occasions to remember each month. There's a pocket, too, on each page where you file an appropriate card for each occasion and then have it on hand all ready for mailing. You'll find the Hallmark Thoughtfulness Album at the fine stores that feature Hallmark cards. For $2.50, it alone makes a perfect Christmas gift. And as a special offer, you can get the album plus a $2.50 selection of 17 distinctive Hallmark cards for different occasions, together a $5 value for just $3.75. Another Christmas gift that's ideal for so many people on your Christmas list. Boxes of Hallmark decorated note papers. These charming note papers are just the right size for a newsy message, a thank you note, or an invitation. And they come in a delightful variety of designs. Some have lovely floral patterns, others have a slim, modern air, while some Hallmark note papers have a gay look of fun about them. They make wonderful stocking presents, too, and cost just 59 cents and $1 a box. New this year for Christmas are these conversation pieces called Novel Notes. They are Hallmark note papers in handy, reusable boxes. This one, called Table Talk, has 12 notes and envelopes, and each bright gingham note has a different, tempting cookie recipe, all for just $1.50 a box. So remember these 2 delightful Christmas gifts: Hallmark Thoughtfulness Albums and boxes of Hallmark note papers, now at fine stores that feature Hallmark cards.
Annie, what? Go upstairs, honey. Come on in.
Addie, have you seen... Aunt Regina! Help! Help!
Miss Regina, say you stop that screaming noise.
Where is everybody?
Mr. Hart's got an attack. He's bad. Miss Regina, say you stop that noise.
Horace, what happened? Can't we see Mr. Oscar, Mr. Ben? Answer me, will you?
No, I ain't seen him. I ain't got time to answer you. I got to get there.
What's the matter with him? When did this happen?
I hope it's not a bad attack.
I've been looking all over for you and Uncle Ben.
How is he? Daddy said it was sudden. Where is he?
Will you listen to me? He's upstairs. Will you listen to me?
I think we should...
Will you listen to me?
What's the matter with you?
Uncle Horace knows about the bombs. He knows about...
Stop that noise. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, he knows about the bombs. Ain't that clear now?
How do you know this?
Cal comes down to the bank today with a message from Uncle Horace. He says the box got here okay.
That might not mean anything.
Oh, it might not, huh? Well, then he says that Manda is to come here tonight, and he's to bring Sal Fowler with him. Well, I guess that doesn't mean nothing either.
Ben, there's the box. Put it down. What are you going to do with it? Eat it?
Could take it back,
Put it
right?
down. Now, sit down and shut up for a minute. Does Manda know the bonds are missing?
How could I tell? I don't think so.
We got to find out. Cal, how is he?
Well, I don't know, Mr. Ben. He wasn't feeling so bad early, then there he is, next thing, on that land and falling over. on the landing with his eyes just shut tight.
Give me those things. Dr. Sloan is over to Mitchell. Hitch up the buggy and go and get him. Go get him.
Sounds bad. He'd have told her about it. Aunt Regina. He'd have told his own wife
He
about
might
it.
have told her, but they aren't on such pretty terms, and maybe he didn't. Now, you listen to me. If she doesn't know, it might turn out all right. But if she does, you were to say he lent you the bonds. He lent them to you.
Lent him to me? Who's going to believe that?
Nobody.
Don't you understand now what harm
I
can
say
lent him to me? Why not you? Why not Uncle Bill?
Because he didn't lend them to me. Remember that.
All he's got to do is say he didn't lend him to me, and
For
I'll
some reason, he don't seem to be talking, does he? Careful now. What happened?
He's had a bad attack.
I'm so sorry we weren't here when old Horace needed us.
When you needed us.
Yes.
Can we go up now?
No, he's not conscious.
Oh, it's that bad.
Well, we haven't seen each other since the day of our fight.
That was nothing, Regina. We've been fighting ever since we were kids.
Horace told me about the bonds this afternoon.
The bonds? What do you mean? What bonds?
The Union Pacific bonds? Horace's Union Pacific bonds?
Yes.
Well, what could he say?
He said that Leo had stolen the bonds and given them to you.
Well, that's absolutely...
I've had enough that they stole them from me. Do I have to listen to this in a bargain?
What did Horace say? What did he tell you?
He told me that Leo had stolen the bonds.
I didn't steal nothing, Aunt Regina.
And then he said he was going to pretend that he lent them to you as a present from me to my brothers. He said there was nothing I could do about it. Nothing I could do about it as long as he was alive to say that he'd lent you the bonds.
Oh, I could have told you that he lent them to
All
me.
be explained, Regina. All be adjusted.
So you at least are willing to admit that the bonds were stolen.
I admit no such thing. It's possible that Horace made up that part of the story to tease you, maybe to punish you.
Oh, I'm very badly off, you see.
Oh, no.
He said the rest of his money would go to Alexandria.
You'll get the bond safely back. That was the understanding, wasn't it? Wasn't it, Oscar?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to know that. Oh, I had greater hopes, but...
Now, don't talk like that. That's foolish. I think we'd better drive over ourselves and get Dr. Sloan.
I think you'd better not go just yet.
We'll be back with Sloan.
Cal's gone for him. I don't want you to go for him. You come back in his room and sit down.
Since when do I take orders from you?
You don't yet. Come back here, Oscar. You too, Leo.
My dear Regina.
You'll do, but go further with a smile, Regina. I'm a soft man for a woman to smile.
I'm smiling, Babe. I'm smiling because you are quite safe while Horace lives, but I don't think Horace will live. And if he doesn't live, I'm going to want 75% in exchange for the bonds.
Greedy. What a greedy girl you are.
Yes, and if I don't get what I want, I'm going to put all three of you in jail.
Out of your mind. Haven't just admitted.
On what evidence would you put Oscar and Leo in jail?
Oh, listen to him, Oscar. He's getting ready to swear it was you and Leo. What do you say to that? Oh, now, don't be angry, Oscar. I'm going to see that he goes right in with you.
Try anything you like, Regina. It's his money, and he is obviously willing for us to borrow it. Learn to make threats when you can follow them through. I'm going for Dr. Sloan.
What, Alexander? That is, who could have known? I didn't know he was that sick.
Seemed like only yesterday when he first came here.
Yes. The whole town loved and respected him.
Did you love him, Uncle Oscar?
Certainly. What a strange thing to ask.
Did you love him, Uncle Ben?
He was like one of the family.
And you, Mama. Did you love him, too?
I know how you feel, Alexandra, but please try to control yourself.
I'm trying, Mama. I'm trying very hard.
Now, grief makes some people laugh and some people cry. It's better if you cry, Alexandra.
What was Papa doing on the staircase?
Please go and rest, my dear. We all need time to get over shocks like this. Please go, Alexandra.
No, Mama, I'll wait. I've got to talk to you.
Later. Go and rest now.
I'll wait, Mama. I've plenty of time. All my life.
As I said, tomorrow I shall go to Judge Sims and I shall tell him about Leo.
No, not in front of this child.
Well, I didn't ask her to say. Tomorrow morning I go to Judge Sims and I shall tell him about it.
What proof of all this?
None. I won't need any. The bonds are missing and they're with Marshall, and that'll be enough. If it isn't, I'll add what's necessary.
We'll deny.
Deny your heads off. You couldn't find a jury that wouldn't weep for a woman whose brothers steal from her. And you couldn't find 12 men in this state whom you haven't cheated and who hate you for it.
What kind of talk is this? We're your own brothers. How can you talk like this? We're upstairs not 5 minutes ago.
There are people who can never go back, who must finish what they start. I'm one of those people, Oscar. Well, they'll convict you, of course, but I won't care much if they don't. Because by that time, you'll be ruined. I shall also tell my story to Mr. Marshall, who likes me, I think, and who will not want to be involved in your scandal. A respectable firm like Marshall and Company, why, the deal will be off in an hour, and you know it. I don't want to hear any more from any of you. You'll do no more bargaining in this house. I'll take my 75% and just forget the story forever. That's one way of doing it, and that's the way I prefer. I think you know me well enough to know that I don't mind taking the other way.
None of us have ever known you well enough, Regina.
You're getting old, Ben. Your tricks aren't as smart as they used to be. Well, all right, I take it that's settled, and I get what I asked for.
Are you going to let her do this?
You have a suggestion?
No, he hasn't. Leo, now, I've forgotten that you ever saw the bonds. As long as you boys both behave yourselves, I've forgotten that we ever talked about it. You can draw up the necessary papers tomorrow. You're a good loser, Ben. I like that.
Well, I say to myself, what's the good? What's the good? We aren't like Oscar. You and me, we're not sour people. That comes from having a good digestion. Then, too, one loses today, wins tomorrow. I say to myself, things may change. I agree with Alexandra. What was a man in a wheelchair doing on a staircase? I ask myself that.
And what do you answer?
I have no answer. Not yet. Maybe someday I will. Maybe never, but maybe someday. And when I do, I'll let you know.
When you do, write me. I'll be in Chicago.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yes, certainly. You'll be sort of working for me now.
Alexandra, you're turning out to be a right interesting girl. Good night, everybody.
What was it you wanted to talk to me about, Alexandra?
I've changed my mind. I don't want to talk. There's nothing to talk about now.
Boy, you're acting very strange and not like yourself. Oh, you've had a bad shock today. I know that. You loved Papa. But you must have expected this to come someday. You knew how sick he was.
I knew. We all knew.
Good for you to get away from here, and good for me, too. Time heals most wounds, Alexander. You're young. You shall have all the things that I wanted. I'll make the world for you the way I wanted it to be for me. Well, don't just sit there staring. You've been so long around Bertie, it's getting just like her.
Funny. That's what Aunt Bertie said today.
Yeah, it'd be good for you to get away from all this.
Carol is back, Mr. Dean. Said Dr. Sloan will be over in very few minutes.
We'll go in a few weeks. A few weeks? Well, that means just 2 or 3 Saturdays, 2 or 3 Sundays. I'm tired. Well, I shall go to bed. I don't want any supper. You can lock up, put out the lights. You go to your room, Alexandra. Addie will bring you up something hot. You look very tired. Addie, call me when Dr. Sloan gets here. I don't want to see anyone else tonight. Don't want any condolence calls. The whole town will be over.
Mama, I'm not coming with you. I'm not going to Chicago.
Ah, you're very upset, Alexandra.
I mean what I say with all my heart.
Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. The morning will make a difference.
It won't make any difference. And there isn't anything to talk about. I'm going away from you because I want to. Because I know Papa would want me to.
You know your Papa would want you to go away from me?
Yes.
And if I say no?
Say it, Mama, say it. And see what happens.
And if I make you stay?
That'd be foolish. It wouldn't work in the end.
You're very serious about this, aren't you? Oh, well. You'll change your mind in a few days.
You only change your mind when you want to, and I don't want to.
Alexandra, I've come to the end of my rope. Somewhere there has to be what I want, too. Life goes too fast. Do what you want. Think what you want. Go where you want. I'd like to keep you with me. But I won't make you stay. Too many people made me do too many things. No, I won't make you stay.
You couldn't, Mama. Because I want to leave here as I've never wanted anything in my life before. Because I understand what Papa was trying to tell me. This afternoon, Addie said there were people who ate the earth and other people who stood around and watched them do it. Well, Mama, I'm not going to stand around and watch you do it. I'm going to be fighting you as hard as I can.
Well, you're a spirit after all. Why, I used to think you were all sugar water. We don't have to be bad friends, Alexandra. I don't want us to be bad friends. Would you like to come and talk to me, Alexandra? Would you like to sleep in my room tonight?
Are you afraid, Mama?
In a moment, Miss Greer Garson will return to tell you of a most exciting television premiere scheduled for February 10th on the Hallmark Hall of Fame. But during this coming week, we will all enjoy the wonderful custom of sending and receiving Christmas cards. And if you'd like to remember everyone on your Christmas list in an especially personal way, go to a fine store that features Hallmark cards. There you'll find a wide selection of distinctive and surprisingly inexpensive Christmas cards that single out the individual you want to remember and extend your holiday greetings to in a warm, tasteful manner. And each person on your list will appreciate this personal touch. For example, here's a gay Hallmark card to a dear aunt at Christmas. It has actual doors and windows that open to reveal Christmas messages inside. Other Hallmark family cards carry your Christmas greetings to a cousin, to a sweet niece, and to Granddad. Among the many other colorful Hallmark Christmas cards, you'll find this special card for your family doctor. And here's a bright one that says, "To some grand neighbors," while this card is designed for the postman. An intriguing card for a youngster is this magic money tree. It has 10 slots for 10 shiny dimes for some lucky boy or girl. Another lovely Hallmark card has a 3-dimensional flavor that spells out several of our favorite Christmas customs. So remember to choose your Hallmark Christmas cards from the brilliant array now on display at fine stores. Remember, too, that it costs no more to send Hallmark cards. The cards with the added compliment on the back. The Hallmark and Crown, the symbol you look for when you care enough to send the very best. And now, Miss Garson.
Well, leaving Regina to her fate, I'm delighted to be able to have a word with you now as Greer Garson. And I have exciting news for you. On February the 10th, the Hallmark Hall of Fame will present the television premiere of The Lark, starring Julie Harris and Boris Karloff. After her magnificent performance in this play last winter, Miss Harris won a Tony Award as the Best Actress of the Year. Life magazine hailed the play as American theater at its distinguished best. It's a television event that I know I won't want to miss. And now I'd like to introduce you to my friends, the wonderful actors in tonight's cast.
Next Sunday at this time, be sure to watch Steve Allen's show, starring Steve Allen, with guest stars Martha Ray, Alan Young, and some Christmas surprises. Here's the colorful Hallmark New Year's party decoration, an attention-getting table centerpiece that comes in an envelope for only $1. And you can get matching invitations and party accessories. To add to the fun, you'll also want these festive Hallmark party hats. 8 different hats for only $1. And be sure to pick up this New Year's gift, the Hallmark Date Book, with daily calendars to list appointments and dates to remember. It's yours as a gift from the fine stores that feature Hallmark cards. Christmas cards with Christmas seals make your home, and every American home, safer from tuberculosis. Buy and use Christmas seals and fight TB. This has been a Milberg production in cooperation with the National Broadcasting Company, and was brought to you live from New York by Hallmark Cards, when you care enough to send the very best. Lee Vine speaking. This program has been televised in color and black and white, pioneered and developed by RCA.